Over a year ago, I decided I wanted to learn how to draw. Not to turn it into a career or to sell, but because I wanted to get better at it. This is day one. Not a great start. I was pretty embarrassed, to be honest, but I tried not to be disheartened. This was the whole point. I didn't buy anything new. My sister gave me a sketchbook and I started with some very blunt pencils I'd found around the house. I wanted to see if I was going to stick with this before dropping a bunch of money on it since, well, I have a habit of, I've always enjoyed drawing, but there were a couple of things that came together that led me to trying this. After waking up one morning from the most vivid dreams, I lamented to my friend that I wished I could draw and bring my own ideas to life. He then told me about the PewDiePie video where he draws for 100 days to improve at it. This, paired with me having read this quote for the first time, was the kick I needed to just try it. So I decided on a similar method, drawing every day for 100 days to see what would happen. It's hard to do this as an adult. When you're a kid trying something new, there's the understanding that everything in the world is new and fresh to you, and you only just learned how to hold a pencil not long ago. We get so mad at ourselves for being bad at things, and it's easy to drop something once you realize you're not instantly good at it. It's not like school, there's no one pushing you to try again, and with the option to get instant serotonin boosts from doom scrolling, there are so many things that can get in the way of even attempting something new. But look at me. If I hadn't started this, I would never have discovered that I was an artistic genius, like I did on day 25. Look at this page. I just nailed everything I was drawing. I couldn't believe it. Only on day 25, I'd done it. I was a professional artist. Then day 26 happened. Then 27, then 28, and I was hit with the very important lesson that progress is not linear, and not to treat a bad day, or even several bad days, as proof that you can't improve. I actually think that we need to reframe the idea of being bad at something. There are people who are professionals in their craft that won't even try something because they understand too well that they're not at the correct skill level to attempt it. Use knowing absolutely nothing to your advantage. Weaponized ignorance is only okay if it's for art. I'm an aspiring writer, and when it comes to my desired career, I'm filled with so much self-doubt, constantly worrying about whether I'm good enough or if I've got what it takes. It's so important to have a creative outlet in your life that is in no way tied to your sense of worth. I wish this wasn't the case with writing, and I'm doing my best to detach the two, but having this hobby is such a great way of getting out creativity with absolutely no stakes involved. That's what you have to remind yourself. You literally have nothing to lose, so have some audacity with it. In case it wasn't clear, I have a tendency to hobby hop, but it's almost been 2 years since I started this, and I've somehow managed to remain consistent. In the first sketchbook, I really did draw every day, and I think the reason this is the case is because I kept it fun. I decided from the beginning that I wouldn't take any art classes. There are a couple of drawings where I followed a tutorial or tried things like the Loomis method, but I specifically didn't want to make this feel like work. I've loved figuring this out on my own and slowly developing an eye for it. It's a longer process, but there's something satisfying about the slow development of skills. Now I can look back at certain drawings and I understand what I got wrong. To be clear, I'm not against the idea of ever going to an art class, just initially a little cautious. Writer and university professor Ocean Vuong recently talked about one of the problems he finds with writing workshops, in that they sometimes risk stomping out creativity for the sake of following the rules. In his classes, the students aren't allowed to critique work straight away. He encourages them to read and experience the work with a focus on exploration without judgment. When something comes out a certain way, asking why. It creates an environment where students are curious rather than self-critical. Being able to take criticism is obviously important, but can be really disheartening when you're just starting out. Ocean Vuong is really cool. I love this second sketchbook, by the way. You can see that I became a lot more willing to experiment, and there's a burgeoning confidence that starts to really come through the work. I also started using biro pens, acrylic pens, and coloured pencils. My younger sister is an art student, so the two of us obviously have very different relationships to art. We draw together sometimes and once tried a method swap. I had to slow down, use a protractor and focus on clean lines like she does. Meanwhile, she had to work in pen so she couldn't erase anything. We both hated it. I got bored spending so long on one drawing and she felt the pressure of not being able to take anything back. But that's kind of the point. The same activity can feel completely different depending on the rules you're working under. Some people thrive with structure and precision. Some people need speed and play to stay interested. When you're trying to find consistency, the right way of doing something is just the way that keeps you coming back tomorrow. I'm glad we tried it because it reminded me not to let other people's methods intimidate me. Pick up what helps, leave what doesn't. If the stakes are making you freeze, lower them. If the rules are killing the fun, bend them. This is supposed to be yours. When I was little, I had this sticker book called The Fairies of Pixie Hollow. It had pages dedicated to Tinkerbell and each of her friends, and all of them had a specific craft. My favourite was Bess. She was the artist, and I wanted to be her. There is something about this process that has felt really good for my inner child, and I think that's why it matters that it stays just for me. We have this reflex culturally to treat anything creative like it has to justify itself. If you're making something with your hands, someone will eventually suggest, you could sell that. I get it, I've definitely said this before. People suggest it because they mean well, but it subtly turns play into performance or a pressure that wasn't previously there, and that can change the whole feeling of it. I work full-time while studying a master's in the evenings, so a lot of my time is already spoken for. Making room for something unproductive can come with guilt, but it's also the thing that keeps me sane. We're all exhausted from constant consumption and the general stress of living, so take the time to create something tangible and real if you can. Something that belongs to you. And remember, Bess would be proud. The reason I wanted to make this video is because I honestly hope it inspires someone. It doesn't have to be drawing, but if there's something you want to try and have been putting off because you're worried about being bad at it, this is your sign to just do it. Your way of working might be completely different from mine. There's literally no right or wrong way of approaching a new hobby. These are just the things that I realized about my process. I love drawing, it's so much fun and makes me happy, and it's as simple as that. Make the time for yourself if you can. Feed your creative well. Let me know if you want more creative videos like this, maybe by liking and subscribing, I don't know. Also share in the comments what your creative hobby is or what you'd like it to be. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.